Okay, so it is easy. I know almost about the guy in Ohio. Almost yes. I don't think that's the guy. I didn't want
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My goodness, there's a lot of you. Welcome, welcome. Here we go again. Another academic year. This is EECS 298, 3D Technical Art and Animation. It is so good to see you. But before we get into the meat of the lecture, I have a question for you. I want you to tell me what this thing is. Have you seen this before? Very, very famous. Okay, do you know what this is? It's a Macintosh advertisement. An advertisement for a computer like this? Now, it can't be right, right? What do you see when you look at this? You see a dramatic action scene. This could be out of a film, maybe an 80s film. It looks dystopian, right? The color scheme is so dark and dreary, okay? And there's this heroine running through it. How could this possibly be something to sell a computer in the 80s? You seen computers in the 80s?
Yes.
How could it possibly be true? But in fact, it is. This is the 1984 Super Bowl commercial for the Macintosh computer. I think the first one, right? How can that be the case? Okay? Absolutely amazing. You wouldn't really think an 80s era computer commercial would look like this. But as we're going to discover, the people behind this commercial, the people behind this company have some very interesting attributes, okay? And a very interesting way of looking at technology and art, okay? And what happens when they come together. I've got a story time. We're going to watch that commercial, okay? But in a bit, because I've got a story that I want to tell you, okay? This is a story you may know, but maybe not quite like this. Okay? It's 2007, and a big event is taking place, okay? Cupertino, California. It's Macworld 2007, and there's a very, very special person with some very interesting skills who's about to take the stage. Who are we about to see? Yes?
Steve Jobs.
It's a guy named Steve Jobs, okay? A name you've probably heard of before. Okay? And if you've forgotten, he looks like this. This is a huge, huge day for Steve Jobs. He's hoping it will change the world. And it's an important day because he doesn't have too many of those left. Okay? Steve Jobs will pass away just a couple years from now. All right? And so this day has to go well. It must go well for him. Steve has a very, very unique set of skills. But it might be more accurate to say he has a very, very unique set of interests, okay? People look at Steve Jobs. He is the CEO of Apple, right? One of the biggest technology companies on the planet in history, one of the most valuable companies in history. Surely this is kind of a, crotchety, stiff businessman, right? Spends all day at home programming, okay? And he does some of that. He is a very powerful technologist. He spent a lot of time dealing with new technologies, okay? He worked at Atari. Do you know what game he worked on? I think I remember what it is. Do you know what game? Have you ever heard of a game called Breakout? Yes. Okay, pretty classic one. But by trade, he's a technologist, but his heart is someplace else, okay? In his heart, he is an artist. He is a UX designer. Let me prove it to you. Listen to what he had to say at a Stanford commencement address. Let's take a look.
And 17 years later, I did go to college. But I naively chose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford. And all of my working class parents' savings were being spent on my college tuition. After 6 months, I couldn't see the value in it. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. And here I was, spending all the money my parents had saved their entire life. So I decided to drop out and trust that it would all work out okay. It was pretty scary at the time, but looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. The minute I dropped out, I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that looked far more interesting. It wasn't all romantic. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for the 5-cent deposits to buy food with. And I would walk the 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it. And much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Let me give you one example. Reed College at that time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Throughout the campus, every poster, every label on every drawer was beautifully hand calligraphed. Because I had dropped out and didn't have to take the normal classes, I decided to take a calligraphy class to learn how to do this. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And since Windows just copied the Mac, it's likely that no personal computer would have them.
Does this sound like the stereotypical computer nerd? Focused all day only on programming, only on engineering? No, this sounds like a guy with some very diverse interests, okay? This is a powerful technologist right here, but this is also a powerful artist, okay? This guy cares about computers. He also cares about humans, okay? And what's really interesting to me about Steve Jobs is that he does not see these two things as separate, okay? He has a famous quote. You can read it here, but I actually want to just show it to you. I found the video. It took me some time for searching, but I found the video. Not this video.
Okay, here's what you want. So, I've said this before, I thought it was worth repeating. It's in Apple's DNA that technology alone is not enough. That it's technology married with liberal arts, married with the humanities, that yields us the result that makes our hearts sing. And nowhere is that more true than in these post-PC devices. And a lot of folks, this tablet market, are rushing in, and they're looking at this as the next PC. The hardware and the software are done by different companies, and they're talking about speeds and feeds, just like they did with PCs. And our our experience and every bone in our body says that that is not the right approach to this. That these are post-PC devices that need to be even easier to use than a PC. That need to be...
Steve Jobs believes in companies that are not just technology companies, teams that are not just programmers, people that have more than just one interest, okay? Because he is one, all right? This quote right here, absolutely amazing quote. It's in Apple's DNA, okay? I'm actually more of a Windows guy. This is not just an Apple fan event here, but just an amazing quote. It's in Apple's DNA that technology alone is not enough. It's technology married with the arts that makes things that are truly special, okay? Can you imagine Bill Gates saying this on stage? Probably not, okay? Bill Gates is an amazing person, very, very impactful, okay? But his interests are programming, engineering, and business, okay? And that can do some things that are really amazing, but there are other things Bill Gates can't do, okay? So, Steve Jobs, right? 1980s. He creates and empowers a kind of obscure computer graphics team, right? Computer graphics, very, very much in their infancy. People don't really know what to do with computer graphics. The University of Utah is making some big advances, but the professors there are having trouble convincing investors to do anything with these. But Steve has a vision. He has an idea that maybe computer graphics could be a big deal. 3D art, imagine that, right? He finds this team called Pixar, okay? And he's going to fund them and support them quite a lot, okay? And in 1995, they're going to release a film, okay? Completely 3D computer animated all the way through. Okay, ridiculous, right? Does anyone know what that film is called?
Toy Story?
It's called Toy Story, okay? It's called Toy Story, and this film, it did okay, all right? It did okay. Steve Jobs, a quote, if Toy Story is a modest hit, say $75 million at the box office, we're going to make some money, okay? We're going to break even. If it makes $100 million, we're making some money. If it makes $200 million and goes crazy, okay, we're going to make some serious money, and Disney is going to be very, very happy with us, okay? How much money did it make? Any ideas?
Wasn't it like 600 million?
600 million, not quite that much, okay? We'd have to wait a while, but those were like 1995 dollars, okay? So maybe with inflation. They ended up making 350 million, okay? Not too bad, okay? They are rolling in it, and Steve Jobs gets a role on Disney's board, okay? So this is a person who is not just running a technology company now. This is a person who has transcended that and is now running an arts and media company, okay? Some of the most legendary storytellers in history over at Disney, okay? So I've got a question for you. This is a pretty special guy, and it's a pretty special moment. Question: when were smartphones born? Do you remember the year? Any of you? Do you remember the year? Yes? 2007 was not the year that smartphones were born, but you'd be very forgiven for thinking it was. Okay? And I'll explain in just a moment, all right? It's 2007, let's say, and smartphones have been around for a while. Okay, they are a fledgling new technology. There was a little bit of hype, but the hype, it's dying, okay? People are kind of like, do we need these smartphones? I got my small little flip phone here. I can text. What more do I need? All right? So mediocre adoption, okay? People just don't really care. What's the point exactly, okay? And smartphones are not receiving much attention. You know why? I'll show you. This is what they look like, okay? They're big, they're bulky, they're a pain to use. The software is terrible, okay? They're not that much better than the flip phones that were in the preceding era. And like every year that goes by, did any of you grow up with flip phones? I don't think so. Did you? Okay, a few of you Flip phones, those were like my era. Okay, I remember when the smartphones really took off. I remember 2007, 2008, how big the iPhone was. Okay, 2007, and these things stink. Okay, but Steve Jobs is about to walk onto the stage at Macworld in 2007, and he's about to do something that only he can do. Okay, Bill Gates can't do this. Let's take a look at what he does.
In 1984, we introduced the Macintosh. It didn't just change Apple, it changed the whole computer industry. In 2001, we introduced the first iPod. And it didn't just change the way we all listen to music. It changed the entire music industry. Well, today, we're introducing 3 revolutionary products of this class. The first one is a widescreen iPod with touch controls. The second is a revolutionary mobile phone. And the third is a breakthrough internet communications device. So, 3 things: a widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communications device. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone. And here it is.
If anyone else tries to do what Steve Jobs does today, the phone probably ends up looking like this, okay? And it ends up with all the other smartphones just kind of coming out and not really much reception and doesn't really work too well. He pulls out an image, the phone right here, and shows us, but you have to kind of wait to see that original iPhone. Here we go.
Is get rid of all these buttons and just make a giant screen. A giant screen.
I sometimes feel, I'm not the biggest Apple fan. I'm not even the biggest Steve Jobs fan. I sometimes feel like these presentations are a bit self-indulgent, right? If the people in that auditorium knew what we know today, they should have clapped 10 times louder, okay? What happened to smartphones after this presentation?
Average smartphone looks like iPhone for every, past 50
no, you don't have to raise your hand if you don't have a smartphone. Raise your hand if you do have a smartphone in your pocket, on your person right now, okay? It really did change everything, okay? And so, I want to talk a little bit more about that, because that's what's very interesting to me, okay? I want to talk about why technology and art need each other, okay? And what happens when you combine them, and why it's so hard to combine them. You take these 3 Venn diagrams here, these 3 circles, okay? In 2007, there were a lot of people, okay, who had advanced technical knowledge, even in the handset space, even in the smartphone space. You take someone like Bill Gates, okay? a lot of resources, a lot of technical know-how and business know-how. He can't make the iPhone, though. If you look, there were people with a lot of art and UX knowledge in 2007, a lot of amazing, great artists in that era. One of them, do you know who this is?
Prince.
It's Prince, right? Prince, an absolutely amazing musician, okay, musical artist. He's also a bit of a Luddite, okay? He really does not like the internet at all, okay? iTunes comes calling, he puts down the phone, okay? He says in 2010 interview, the internet is over, okay? It's not going to be a thing. It's ridiculous. It's a fad. Come on. Prince is an amazing, talented artist, but he can't make the iPhone, okay? There are people in 2007 who have just numerous resources, all right? They command armies of exceptionally talented employees. Their war chest, okay, is absolutely massive. I'm talking about people like this guy right here. Do you know who this guy is? Famous in business circles, or I should probably say a bit infamous, maybe. Anyone know who this is? This is a guy named Jim Balsillie. And he is one of the CEOs of BlackBerry. Okay, Research in Motion. His smartphone looks like this. Okay, and it's doing all right. You know, it's doing okay. I mean, some people like it, some people buy it, right? He has a quote that he probably will regret pretty much forever. Apple and the iPhone is kind of one more entrant into an already very busy space with lots of choice for consumers, right? It's just another smartphone. But in terms of a sort of sea change for BlackBerry, I would think that's overstating it, okay? Oh man, he will eat these words. He will eat these words, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a very, very long time, okay? So, he does not have what you need to make the iPhone. Jim cannot make the iPhone. And what I want to know is in 2007, what do you think? How many people have the technical knowledge, okay, the artistic love, and the resources to create something that is so incredibly well built, but not just well built from a technology perspective, well built for humans? Okay, wait a second. Let's zoom in, okay? Because that's a really small area. Zoom in. Can you see it? Zoom in a little bit more, okay? All right. I think there's a strong argument to make that Steve Jobs is the only person who can make smartphones happen, make them a thing, by 2007. Smartphones, if Steve Jobs isn't alive, they probably blow up eventually. They don't blow up this hard, and they don't blow up this soon, okay? This is something that only Steve Jobs can do in 2007, okay? Art and technology absolutely need each other, okay? There are things you can do when you love technology and you love art that that you just can't do if you only love one or the other, okay? You have to develop a passion for both of these things. We really, really need people who love both of these things, and this is the definition, okay, of a technical artist. You can find a lot of definitions of what a tech artist is online. You can find a lot of speculation. You'll find definitions that conflict with each other. You'll find definitions that don't make sense. But this is the only definition you really need, okay? People who are so immersed in technology and so immersed in art that they can command the powers of both. They can combine them, okay, and do things that no one else can do, okay? Have you ever met someone who is a really good programmer, but actually you discover they're a crazy good artist? You may have met a couple people like this. Not too many, though, probably. Have you ever met an amazing artist, right, who's putting out just beautiful work after beautiful work, and you discover, yeah, they go home and program for fun, right? They're making their own games. They are, programming things to save them time. Maybe they got a tech startup downtown. No, right? That is super, super rare, and yet we need more of those people, okay? Special, special people, okay? That's what all of you are going to become this semester, all right? I want to go through a couple examples through, my personal experience I love game dev. I'm the main game dev prof on campus. I should probably apologize to Natalie and some of my colleagues for saying that. I'm one of the main game dev profs on campus. And one of the game devs that I respect a lot, his name's Scott Cawthon. Okay, anyone know who that is? Okay, all my 494 students are like, yeah, this again. Scott Cawthon, very, very private guy. He's an animator by trade, okay? He gets a start in animation, and he gets better and better at it. Interestingly, and I think many in the community would agree, he's never been very good at humans, but he's very good at what?
Animatronics.
Yep, robots and animatronics, okay? He's a very good animator, okay? But what's interesting is that he starts to develop a talent for programming too, okay? And some musical talents as well, okay? And eventually that turns into this. Where are the lights in this room? Are the lights right there? Can you hit the lights? You can't watch this trailer at the lights on. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. Okay, let's take a watch. I love horror schlock, and this is one of my favorite games. I know how many of you haven't really played this game, but you've watched it on YouTube. Markiplier, favorite Let's Player, right? Maybe in the dark, maybe as you're about to go to sleep. Oh, you can't go to sleep. It's too scary, right? I would encourage you to give it a play, okay? Play it yourself. This game has some very subtle game design that is very, very interesting and very engaging as well. A very stressful game, but in all the right ways. If you haven't heard of this game or played it, this is a survival horror game, a resource management game wrapped up in a scary 90s cheesy Chuck E. Cheese aesthetic, okay? Which meant for like the millennials like me, like this was just the perfect theme, okay, for us. So, how many of you are millennials? Are any of you? Oh, it's nothing but Zoomers. Okay. Steph, are you a millennial? Rock and roll, okay? I'm not alone. Okay, so this is a game in which you are a security guard, overnight watch at a Chuck E. Cheese style pizza parlor. They're very expensive animatronics. You got to make sure they don't get wrecked or anything. They're haunted, okay? So they come to life overnight, and you need to survive to the end of your shift at 6 a.m. You need to prevent them from getting to you in this back office, okay? You can keep track of them using the camera. You can watch them, monitor them. Interestingly, you can pin them in place by looking at them through the camera because they will only move when you are not looking, okay? You can also, if they get too close, you can use these lights and these door locks near the doors to stop them in their tracks, and then they will go away. The tension here, where the game design magic happens, is that your energy is limited. So if you want to look through the camera more or make yourself safer with the doors, it's going to come at a cost, okay? And eventually you're out of energy and you're toast, all right? This game, yeah, if you're toast, if they get you, it looks like this. Big scary jump scare, okay? How many of you are like nostalgic for this? Yeah, me too. Like I was an undergrad, 2014, 2015. I was finishing my EECS 281. Straight to YouTube, gonna watch the latest Markiplier attempts at the 2020 mode, I think. Okay, this game has a shocking amount of complexity and nuance and subtlety underneath its hood, okay? This game has been decompiled, a really great channel called Tech Rules, and a great video. It only has 6.6 million views that goes into the code and basically divulges how all of the animatronics work, how the AI works, how the game structure works, this game is well made. Okay, this game is not just a beautiful game with a great theme and great music. This is not just the game from an amazing artist. This is a game from a pretty darn good programmer too. Okay? By the way, There's no programming in this course, so don't panic when I say programmer, okay? But absolutely amazing. This is a multidisciplinary person. Who's surprised that this blows up, okay? It's another kind of Steve Jobs moment. 5 sequel games, 3 novels, 1 box office smash hit, 300 million worldwide. I think the sequel is coming soon. I haven't watched the trailer. I'm not gonna. I want to be spoiler free. What about Toby Fox? Who knows this guy? Okay, and in the back of your mind, thinking, I wonder who he says next. I wonder if he might bring up Toby. I'm gonna. Okay, Toby Fox. Okay, kind of an interesting character. He has a very interesting history in the modding and hacking community. Actually, before Undertale happened, Earthbound was his big thing, I think. By trade, he is a musician. That is his bread and butter, and he is amazing at it. Okay. But as the years go by, something strange starts to happen to Toby. He gets pretty good at programming, and he gets pretty darn good at art too, okay? I kind of put this GIF here as funny, like, yeah, he's clearly a musician, not an artist, but for the game he was making, this fits. And if you go further in the game, you see some beautiful art and some great character designs, okay? Toby is an artist. Not just a musician, and he's a programmer too, okay? He starts programming, and people find out he uses the Game Maker engine, which is kind of a beginner engine, but it certainly has a lot of programming in it. You have to do a lot of that. And someone emails him from the community, says, Toby, Game Maker is a disaster. How on earth did you learn to program with Game Maker? And he responds, he has a rare response here. Holy shit, Toby, how can you stand a Game Maker? He says, welcome to hell, okay? And you know right then and there, like, yeah, this guy knows how to program, okay? This is a technologist and an artist. I want to show you the game that came out of a person who has a love for music, art, and programming. I want to show you this, this trailer. Toby Fox is also an amazing writer. It just hit me while I was watching the trailer. How does this guy do it? He's a Renaissance man. He's a great musician. He's a great artist. He's a great programmer, and he's also a great writer. If you've played the game, and how many of you have, it's very clear this person is someone who has met a lot of people, and he doesn't just meet people, he tries very, very hard to understand them. He's very, very curious about the things that he encounters in real life, whether it's something he sees or a person he meets. He's extremely curious, and he develops a love for all of these different things. It's the only way he could have all these skills. And of course, Scott and Toby have teammates who help them out, but these are small teams. There's a reason that most people see these games as kind of a one-person made game. Not technically true, spiritually kind of true, okay? And so that's what we need more of, okay? These peoples are out there. You can become one of those people, all right? Who has that multidisciplinary hunger, that multidisciplinary skill, that respect for things that are as different and diverse as art and programming, engineering, technology, okay? I have one final thought for you. This is not going to be easy, okay? Now, I don't think the course is going to be super hard, but if you want to become excellent at multiple diverse fields, if you want to come to love all these very different things, it's not going to be easy, okay? Not going to be easy on your sleep schedule, not going to be easy on your soul, okay? It's going to be tough. But that is the way that you make things that are special, okay? Lots of programmers out there, lots of engineers, lots of artists out there, so very few technical artists. That's why this course has to exist, okay? I've been waiting for this course for 20 years, since I was a undergrad here in 2011, okay? And it never came, all right? And now we're going to make it come to life, okay? All of us. I want to show you that commercial from the very beginning, okay? And I want you to think, how do you imagine the typical 80s era computer commercial probably went? A few salespeople standing up talking about the power, the expressiveness, the price tag of the next computer from Bill Gates, right? I want to show you a commercial that's a little bit more artsy, okay? By people who are not just in love with the technology and making money, okay? Let's take a look. After these brief messages. I have so on Firefox, I have a blocker, so I never see this stuff. But Firefox just doesn't work very well with Google Slides, okay? I'm not sure why. So Chrome it is. And, of course, Chrome got rid of the ad blocker, didn't they? Didn't they? It's still there? Does it still work?
There's a new version.
Oh, there's a new version.
You block more than like.
So this is like a cat and mouse game now. All right. Well, I'm on the mouse's team for sure. Okay, let's take a look.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the information purification process. The first time in all history, a garden of pure ideology, ready to open bloom, secure from the mists of incompetent Force is more powerful than any fleet or army on earth. We are one people, with one will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves down, but we will fight them with their own cause. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer introduced Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
This is the kind of commercial you expect from a company full of artists and technologists, okay? Not just a company full of artists, not just a company full of technologists, okay? You can tell the people working at Apple around this time absolutely love both of these things, and that's what we have to be as well. And that's what we're going to do, okay? Can you hit the lights? Thank you. All right, everyone, welcome to EECS 298, 3D Technical Art and Animation. Who on earth are we? Okay, I haven't introduced myself yet. Gavin, are you here in the crowd? No? Okay, so Gavin McGinnis is one of your IAs for this semester. He has taken a few of my game development courses in the computer science department. An amazing engineer, great game designer, and he also has some nice Blender abilities, okay? So he can 3D model some very cool things, and he will be of a great resource to us as we walk the path through this course, okay? Evan, are you here? Here. Too many people in the room. Okay, Evan Stoker, an absolutely fantastic IA, our second IA for the course. Have any of you, there's this little obscure like gaming site called Roblox. Like, anyone play Roblox? Okay, rock and roll, okay? It is, Evan makes some of the most popular games on Roblox, okay? He makes games that are unofficial, he makes official games. He has one of the largest game studios in the city of Ann Arbor, okay? And they make games on Roblox. Roblox has been in the news a bit lately, and they I mean, that kind of happens like yearly for them now. It's like clockwork. They keep stepping in it in some new, interesting way. But he's done a really, really incredible job there. He's very talented at Blender and 3D modeling as well. He's also experienced with Unity. Actually, not Unity, but Unreal Engine. So he'll be able to help you there still quite a bit. Tristan, are you here? All right, rock and roll. Go for it.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Tristan. I am interested in game design. I'm present in one of the clubs here at Michigan called Wolverine Soft. There's a few familiar faces from that. So I enjoy making games in my free time alongside with others from the club, stuff like that. You can see these screenshots up here, maybe a little bit small. But these are two pictures from a game I'm working on with my friend Dallas. He's present in the Discord and stuff like that. If you ever want to reach out to him, his art is super cool. Here are two of my favorite games. I played Minecraft and Diablo 3 with my dad growing up, so maybe that's kind of what got the ball rolling on my whole game design interests. I really enjoy music, so here are four of my favorite albums up here. Siamese Dream by Smashing Pumpkins is super good. And then over the summer, I've been getting into graphics programming because I want to make a game from scratch. So if you know anything about that, it's a little bit of a pain. So this is my feelings about that. It's pointed to a dumpster fire right here. But
hold on just a sec. How many of you have made your own engine from scratch? Hell yeah, okay. Let's go.
So, okay, you get much struggle on that. Yeah. So and then I started using Blender as a hobby. I think maybe I was like 12-ish or something like that. I think I originally did start modeling stuff for Roblox and that kind of sphere a little bit, and then I kind of transferred out of it. And I've made some 3D assets for games and stuff I've worked on. And so I'm super excited for this course. I will just be a grader for this course. I'm not an IA, but I'm more than happy to help with any questions you guys might have.
Tristan, thank you for your services. All right. We have like 5 or 6 students working at Mojang right now, but that really should be like 20 or 30. So gonna get you some Blender skills and get you working over there. Let's keep going. So Evan, are you here? No? Okay, so Evan Marcus has actually graduated. He is an excellent Blender artist, better than I am, almost certainly, and a fantastic game developer as well. He actually won the EECS 494 Game Development Showcase. Okay, that's a competition. You got teams of 4. You're going to make a game in 5 to 6 weeks. So what game did he make? I want to show you. That's a weird, bad timing for that, isn't it? Okay, and we'll play Final Fantasy X. What a great game. Fantastic, fantastic game. This is Pick It Up. Let's take a look.
Hey guys, look what I picked up on my way home. Boom! New Garbot!
What's different about this one?
It's red.
You need to get rid of one of them. Let's make a fight to see which one's trash.
Sounds good to me. Punch your rivals, send them flying. Throw trash at them, scatter their loot, and gain the upper hand. Power up your speed and jump height to reach new areas or escape enemies. Every piece of trash you get in the bin matters, so aim carefully. Clean out the whole house, from the foyer, backyard, basement, and more, all with unique twists and challenges. Compete with a friend in fast-paced matches to prove who should stay and who should be scrapped.
He made this in only a few weeks, okay? This guy knows what he's doing, all right? Fantastic, fantastic addition to the team. Who am I? I clicked wrong thing. Who am I? My name is Austin Yarger. This is a very old photo, as you can kind of tell. I'm a lecturer here at the University of Michigan. In particular, I'm in the computer science department in the College of Engineering. I've been here for quite a while. I've been on campus since about 2011 when I ran Wolverine Soft Game Development Student Org for about 5 years. I teach the Game Dev course 494, EECS 440, the XR course, AR, VR, this course now, and then the Game Engine Architecture course where you build your own game engine, your own version of Unity from scratch, C++ and Lua. My biggest game is The Sims 4. I worked at EA Mobile and Meta for a little bit. I did some simulation work for DARPA, and then I run the Ann Arbor chapter of the IGDA. That's the International Game Developers Association. By the way, really quickly, on Thursday, has anyone ever used, there's a really, it's kind of weird and obscure, but it's a website called Reddit. Has anyone used that? Okay, I'm going to keep running that joke into the ground. So the art director of Reddit, David Carr, is in town. He lives in Ann Arbor now, and he's going to be presenting on art styles and some different art topics on Thursday. If you go to this event, you get a little bit of extra credit. We want to try and coax you out into going to events that will improve your student experience. This is one of them, just a tiny bit of extra credit. Not a big deal if you miss. Don't worry about it at all, okay? But it might be fun if you do go. His talk will begin around 8 o'clock, probably. What else? If you ever hear a buzzing above you in Ann Arbor, there's a non-zero chance it is me. I'm a pilot, and I really love to just circle around the Duderstadt Center and North Campus. So if, maybe I'll try and take some photos and I'll post them in the Discord or something. We'll see. But, anyway. Okay, really quickly. Okay, there are lots of great clubs on campus. One of them is Wolverine Soft. It's the game development club on campus. Learn how to make games, meet other people who care about this topic. It's really good stuff. If you've heard of Solar Car, it's very famous at U of M. It's a team in which you build a solar car vehicle and you get course credit for doing that. This is the Solar Car rival, but it's based on video games, okay? So if you want to join a big student-run game studio, it's Wolverine Soft Studio. You get course credit for doing so. You can choose 2 credits to 5 credits. If you want to make things a bit easier, you just choose 2 credits, no big deal, and you have a great time. You build a lot of really good portfolio material because you have one new, cool, awesome Steam game per semester if you're part of this group, okay? And anyone can join. Yep, cool, big games, blah, 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 blah. All right. Video Game Music Club, okay? Oh, heck yeah, right? Oh, you want to say something? Go for it.
That is our old logo.
Oh, okay. You can send me, email me the new one.
I will. This club is really cool. We do all things talk about, compose, and listen to anything BGM related. It's open for anyone, even if you only know one game or no games.
When's your first meeting?
Probably next week. I don't know. See us at Festival.
Okay.
All right. Rock and roll. First meeting next week. Video Game Music Club. There's also Alternate Reality Initiative. If you like VR and AR, this is a great club that meets on occasion. I think we also have some other awesome 3D art related clubs as well. Okay. And I will send you those a bit later in Discord, I think. Okay. So what is our main mission today? Well, if you look at Canvas, okay, how many of you have visited this already? You've already seen this, okay? If you ever want to know what we're doing on any given day, or if you ever want to know what is due, what you should be working on, okay, Canvas is going to help you out. On this front page of Canvas, there's this big schedule section, okay? And if you've taken my courses before, you already know what this is. You know how to read it. But if you haven't, it's a little bit tricky to read, but it packs a ton of information, okay? So here's how you read it. You go and take your eyes to the left column, okay? And as you move your eyes downward, time progresses. Okay? You find today's date and you move your eyes to the right. If we have reached that day, you'll find a lecture plan that is posted. This Google document contains everything we're going to do that day. It includes the slideshows, so if you want to review anything, you can. It includes download links. It includes all sorts of good stuff, announcements, and all of that. If you keep moving your eyes to the right, you might find an optional reading section. If you click on that, it'll just kind of take you to some additional learning materials, totally optional. You don't need to check them out at all if you don't want to. But the big one are these colored bars over here, okay? So if you come over here and you see a green block, that means an assignment is starting that day at the beginning of lecture, 1:30 p.m., okay? And you can click on that green block, the little hyperlink in the name, and it will actually take you to the homework. Okay, it'll take you directly to the assignment so that you can read and start progressing the assignment and finish that up as soon as you like. Okay, if you move your eyes to the right and you see instead a yellow block, that means an assignment is in progress and you should consider working on it and maybe try and get it done soon. Okay, if you want to know which assignment is in progress, you just move your eyes upward until you hit its name, okay? If you see a red block, you can guess what that means. It is due, okay? It is due at the start of lecture, okay? 1:30 p.m., all right? And the late policy is going to be a little bit different in this course, a little bit strange because of how submissions work in this course. But don't worry about that too much. On Wednesday, we're going to talk a lot more about course logistics, how to turn things in, how the late policy works, okay, collaboration policy, all that good stuff. We're going to talk about that on Wednesday. But if you want to start the homework, I think it's kind of a fun homework. We generated your repos last night. How many of you got your repo? Okay, excellent, good. We generated the repos, and then I kid you not, like 10 minutes later, we had a student just tearing through the homework, just tearing through. And I'm watching them push stuff to their repository. And I wondered if they were going to finish it before we even had this lecture. They did not, but they are closing in already. So I guess maybe they find it fun. I don't know. But okay, so that is how you read this schedule. And if you're ever confused, this schedule is a really good place to go. You can also go, if you're confused, to the Discord or to the Piazza, where you can ask questions. You can talk about the assignment. You can do all that really good stuff if you want to. This art gallery button and this daily model themes section is not relevant to you until next week, okay? Midway through next week, an assignment will release. It's called the daily model assignment. And as you can guess from the name, you're basically going to be making very quick models. It's kind of like a daily free write. Maximum, well, not maximum, but 20 minutes. Okay? 20 minutes, that's it. You do not need to make a model per day. It's not that harsh. Okay? You can skip a lot of days. All right? So don't panic and go drop in the course. You know, when I first unveiled this assignment, early last year, I think, like I talked about, oh yeah, we're going to have an assignment and students are going to make one model every day in Blender. They're going to upload it. They're going to have a great portfolio. And I'm looking at everyone in the audience and everyone's like, you can skip the weekends and an additional day. You can skip 3 days out of the week without any penalty to your grade at all. Okay? So anyway, we'll talk more about that next week when that assignment actually launches. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about any of this stuff? Yeah, go for it.
So what is a repo? I know it's short for repository, and I
Yes.
got my thing. But
Yes.
What is that for? Homework.
Yes, that's right. So we're going to talk about it a little bit more on Wednesday. And the homework has a big spiel on it that you can read. But basically, if you are working on a big film or game team, it is not acceptable for you to be emailing your work to all of your coworkers and sharing stuff on a flash drive, right? So maybe you make a cool new character model. You're going to give it to your teammate via flash drive? No. Okay, no. You can do that if you're a student team. But in industry, the topic of version control is paramount. Okay, version control is typically a software package that will take some changes that you make, okay? Let's say you have a folder and you got all these cool characters in the folder or images or films or whatever. And when you make changes, when you do your work, the software will track those changes you made and then smartly push those changes up to the cloud where it is permanently safe. If your hard drive fails, you're good. You just pull it back down from the cloud. That's where it's at, right? It also makes it very easy to share your work and changes with other people. Okay, and that's super important, especially as your team grows. So anyway, that's kind of what version control is. And to get you some exercise with version control, you are going to be using version control to share your work with the course staff. Okay, that's what Git is. That's what a repo is. And you're going to learn more about that in the coming days. We got a big lecture on Wednesday talking about version control more. Okay, so don't worry, you'll be just fine. Okay. Any other questions or comments of anything thus far? Okay, let's keep going. So, some quick announcements. A reminder, you can attend lectures in this course remotely, okay? You don't need to be here in person. However, what happens over time if you are just attending remotely? Like, does anything bad start to happen?
You slowly develop a version of senioritis where you start not paying as much attention.
Yes. Senioritis can creep in. I call it remote apathy, okay? On the very first day of lecture, you're like, okay, I'm going to be an elite, top-notch student. It's going to be the best semester ever, okay? I'm going to go to classes in person. I'm going to sit at the front. I'm going to shake the professor's hand, go to all their office hours. Okay, that's the first lecture. By the second lecture, you're like, I'm kind of tired. I'll go to lecture in person, but I'm going to skip office hours, and I'm going to just kind of sit in the back, right? Okay? Sitting in the back is fine, by the way. But it is a little bit riskier. You might fall asleep or not pay as much attention. Now, by the third lecture, you're like, do I really need to go in person? No, I'm going to just chill at home, and I'll watch the lecture recording like an hour later, okay, on triple speed, okay? And then by the fourth lecture, you're like, I'll watch the lecture, but I'm going to delay like a day or two. I'm tired. I want to go get some pizza. I don't know. And then by the fifth lecture, you're not going to in-person lectures. You're not viewing the lectures at home. And the course is getting strangely hard for some reason. Okay? And so that's what you have to be careful of. All right? You want to be very careful about that. Use the remote lectures. But if you start feeling yourself falling a bit behind, I encourage you, come back to the in-person lectures, come to office hours. We really want to help you out. We got a great staff to help you out, okay? I think we have office hours, oh my goodness, like every day. Look at these office hours, okay? It's at the very bottom of your Canvas front page. Monday office hours, 3:30 to 4:30. That's right after lecture, okay? I'm going to be sticking around after lecture an hour, and let's get your homework done, okay? Really fast, not a super long homework. We got office hours Wednesday. We got office hours Thursday, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, okay? So for all of you who want to do your homework on Tuesdays, I'm sorry. Everyone else, you should be okay. Do note that all of these office hours are available remotely as well. So if you're at home, you can attend them. Just go into the Discord server, ping us, okay? And hopefully you'll grab our attention. We'll hop into the chat, and we can do office hours, okay? Okay, what else do we got here? Blah, 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 blah. These in-person crowds should be much reduced as early as next lecture, okay? A lot of people will go remote, and that's totally fine. Just try and keep up with the lectures as soon as you can, okay? But it'll be easier to find seats, even workstation seats in the future, okay? You have one homework assignment that has been released, okay? It is due in 7 days. It is called Blender Basics. This is your first introduction to Blender. It assumes absolutely nothing, okay? It is going to teach you camera controls. It's going to teach you how to move around and manipulate the Blender UI. It's going to teach you how to manipulate geometry and start creating very basic objects. It'll teach you a little bit about materials. It'll teach you, I don't think anything about keyframes yet. It'll teach you how to use Git, okay, and how to start preserving your work. And it's quite fun. If you are steeped in video game culture, you will find a lot of interesting challenges and references in here. Otherwise, you'll just find a lot of kind of interesting problems to solve, okay? Not a super difficult homework at all. In fact, the homeworks in this course just aren't that difficult in the first place, but they do require some time, okay? So make sure you start these homeworks early, and they'll be pretty darn easy, pretty smooth, I think. You can make this course much harder than it is supposed to be by skipping like 4 or 5 days and only doing the work in like the last day, okay? Don't do that. That'll be a very nasty experience for you. Yeah, you'll be building a lot of simple, fun objects. You'll be posting your objects to the Discord, okay? I'll talk a little bit about how grading works in this course, but the short of it is that this problem requires you to make a donut with certain features. This could be the ugliest donut we have ever seen in our life, but you get full points. Full points so long as you have met these requirements, okay? And they're not subjective requirements. You either very clearly have them or you do not. However, your peers, right, your friends in this class are going to see your donut. Okay, so I encourage you to make it the best donut you can as your schedule allows. Okay, here's something you should never do. Never lose sleep, okay, for this course. Always get 8 hours of sleep. Always go get your meals, okay, 3 meals a day. Hang out with your friends. Keep yourself healthy, physically, emotionally, mentally, okay? And if you find yourself sacrificing to get this course done, you got to come see us, okay? We have techniques and tips to help you out, to speed you up, to get you back on track. This should not be a painful course in the slightest, okay? It is a new course, so there will probably be some bugs and some things I mess up, but that's just the life of a guinea pig, I think. And I very much appreciate all of you being my guinea pigs this semester. I hope you get a lot of great knowledge and a great portfolio out of it. So we'll see. Anyway, do the homework. After you do the homework, actually, every homework has extra credit you can get at the very end by filling out a little feedback form, okay? So you get to the very end of the assignment, and what do? You click this button as soon as everything loads. Hello. I think the Wi-Fi is kind of struggling a bit. Has anyone else noticed that today? Yeah, just the first day jitters, I think. You get to the end of the assignment, you're all done, you click provide feedback, you do a simple Google form, you let me know how the assignment went, how long it took. Super valuable for us. We want to make this course really great. We need your feedback to iterate it and make it better. And so you get some extra credit for that, okay? So don't forget that. Okay, all of you, we tried to generate your Git repos, but if you have not logged in to the EECS GitLab website, you need to click that link in your email inbox. You need to log in. You log in with your normal UMich web login credentials. Then once you've done that, you're golden. Just wait until about 2 a.m. My bot, my course robot, will try and generate your Git repository again, and you'll get another email. It will say something like this. It was generated successfully. It will give you more instructions on what to do next. Okay? And then you can really start rocking on homework 1. You can start on homework 1 if you want to before you get your Git repo. But you can't complete it or submit it until you do. Okay? So there you go. Learning Blender, let me see here. Learning Blender feels about like this. It feels like this too. This is, yeah. Okay. I'm not going to elaborate on that. My recommendation is for you to bring a laptop to lecture if you can. We will have some exercises we do together in class, and having a laptop, some device with Blender on it, will help you engage with those if you want to. In this class, usually when I'm demonstrating something in Blender, I will tell you to not do it on your machine, right? Because I just want you to enjoy and watch and get the spirit of what is possible in Blender. The homeworks are where you will memorize, get the muscle memory, and you'll memorize the hotkeys and all that stuff. But your laptops will come in use next week, because the final 30 minutes of every lecture starting next week will be the daily model. Okay, so we'll all do the daily model together, so you don't have to do it later at night, and thus on Mondays and Wednesdays you won't have to worry about that assignment too much. Okay? Yes, question?
What if your laptop isn't powerful?
So that makes it a bit harder, but we do have these nice workstations right here. We tried to get all the software installed in them that you'll need, and so I think that'll be just fine for you. But we do need to make sure that if someone else is using a workstation and they do have a laptop, that we swap you onto it so you can use it, okay? Not many workstations in here, and certain days another course is going to come in the last 30 minutes and they need to use these. So we'll have to see what happens, okay? We'll play it by ear. Yes, and then the extra credit this Thursday. So what are we trying to do today, okay? Our main mission today is to figure out what on earth this course is, okay? And whether it's a good fit for your interests, your goals, and your schedule, okay? EECS 298, as you can kind of see up here, is a course that has a lot of stuff in it, okay? It's not a very difficult course, I don't think, but there's a lot of stuff, okay? This course is many things, and what this course is to you is going to depend on what your goals are and who you are, okay? How many of you would describe yourself as mainly an engineer? Okay. How many of you would describe yourself as you're mainly an artist? Okay, rock and roll, fantastic. It's like half and half. Perfect, okay? This course is many things, okay? But all of these things are linked by that shared love of technology and art, okay? And so you're going to get a feel for that. This is a Blender 3D art course, okay? In its most pragmatic, rawest form, we're learning Blender this semester, okay? We're going to learn it all right. What is Blender, okay? This is Blender. It's a 3D modeling program. You're going to be seeing this cube, this camera, and this light a lot this semester, okay? And oh my goodness, everyone, welcome home, okay? Welcome home, okay? It's going to give you the warm fuzzies soon, I guarantee it. Blender is a pretty awesome program. Once you get into it. It takes a little while, but once you get into it, it's great, okay? So Blender, all right? This is an open source 3D modeling program. I'll prove it to you. Let's open the source. Here's the source, okay? If you want to go in, you can actually change the code, recompile Blender, and then you have your own personalized version of Blender. My engineers might actually have some fun doing that, I think. It is a community-built and community-powered 3D modeling program, okay? It is completely free, all right? Here's the team. I think this is an old image of the team. The team's a bit bigger now. They're over in Europe. I don't remember exactly where. But this is a program that is free and will always be free, okay? The source code is open. Anyone can take it and then fork it and make their own Blender 2 if they wanted to, all right? And so it can't be taken away, okay? It is free as in beer, as in you don't have to pay anything. You know how expensive Maya is? Maya can be some serious coin, okay? Yeah, there are some student versions, but eventually Maya's gonna find a way to get that money. Okay, Cinema 4D is also expensive, right? I think Maya is like, for the corporate version, like several $1,000s a month, right?
$2,000 a year.
$2,000 a year for Maya?
Yeah.
I was thinking like per month. Okay, that's not too bad.
$255.
$255 per month. Ooh, ouch. Okay, Cinema 4D, I think I looked it up, is like $70 per month. Okay, that's not too great either. Not as bad though. Blender is totally free, okay, and always will be. Okay, but it's also free as in freedom, okay? Blender cannot be blocked or taken away. There's no one who can do this. One really interesting thing that happened in the world of game development when the Ukrainian-Russian war broke out in, I think, 2022, a lot of Russian developers were very nervous that they would lose access to Unreal Engine and Unity. These are two American-made engines, okay? I was just over in China at NetEase Games and Tencent Games, and they don't like Unity over there. Do you know why? Because Unity is refusing to release the latest version of their engine in China. So all these great Chinese developers, MiHoYo, right, all of those over there, they are using 2022, okay? The 2022 version of Unity. Okay, it stinks. They're very frustrated. They're moving to Unreal Engine. Okay, and so software isn't always available unless it is openly licensed and made free. Okay, Blender cannot be taken away. There are too many copies of it. The license has made it public domain for the world. It can't be blocked or taken away like we have seen some other software get taken away. Okay, anyone know who this is? Be very surprised if you did. This is the creator of Blender, Ton Rosendahl. Created Blender in 1994. He released it as free software in 2002. Blender has a very interesting history. It was initially a commercial product, a rival of Maya and 3ds Max, but it failed, okay? Crashed and burned, okay? Bankrupt. Well, the creator still loved the software, but the investors owned it. Okay, so he crowdfunded $100,000 in the 90s, okay? And he got the money and he bought his own software, his own modeling program back from the investors, and then he released it for free to the world, and it got a second chance at life where it now is the indie choice, right? Champion of the people. What a great story, huh? We'll maybe talk more about that in the future. This Blender program is a powerful jack of all trades, okay? It is really good at modeling, okay? You can make all sorts of interesting little objects with it, products if you want to, characters if you want to, okay? One thing you're going to discover is that, hey, wow, Austin, Professor Yarger is a great engineer, but I don't know if he's a great artist. And yeah, that's absolutely true, okay? I am mainly an engineer by trade, okay? I love art, and that has caused me to get much better at it over time. I'm still no good, okay? Not very good at it, and your skills will probably exceed mine within a few weeks. Hopefully they will, okay? But I still think I can kind of lead you on that journey and do a good job. Anyway, Blender is really good at modeling, okay? You're going to do all of these on the first assignment. You might do these tonight, make these objects, okay? It is very good at animation as well, okay? Animation, right? Bringing life to your characters, to your models, to your environments, okay? Animations are so important if you want to then bring your characters to an interactive world, okay? Attacking animations, jumping animations, okay? Animations for failure, animations for success, okay? Enemy characters, creatures, humanoids, okay? Animatronics, and of course Shrek, right? All of these characters, you're going to be doing a lot of animations like this throughout the course, okay? And later you'll bring them into an engine. Animations are really, really cool, okay? This GIF right here shows it, I think, okay? You create an armature, right? And then use that armature to bind a mesh, bind geometry. Here we have a character. It has been modeled in the classic T-pose to establish dominance, okay? And you do that in part to make rigging, creating the armature, creating the skeleton easier, okay? You have the geometry. Now, we don't really know who this is. You might be able to guess who this is, but let's add a material, okay? This is geometry. This is a material added onto the geometry, okay? How does light reflect off of a character's surface? And now we have a character. Who's this character? You know? Yes. It is a, man, am I going to get a letter from Nintendo during the semester? I'm going to frame it if so. The day I get a letter from Nintendo is the day I introduce you to Princess Rose, okay? Anyway, yes.
Aren't you more adventure from 494 or 498 to get a cease and
Probably. I got all these fishing nets out for that cease and desist. Gonna catch one eventually. Okay, materials, okay? You've taken the basic geometry and shape of a character or object or environment, and you've made decisions about how will this part of the model reflect light, okay? What color will it be? What texture will you overlay on top of it? All that good stuff, okay? Then, with the character in this T-pose, we can go in, we can create a skeleton, an armature it's called in Blender. And we can kind of align it to the basic shape of your character or your object. We can then bind it to that mesh, and that gives us a powerful way to manipulate many bits of geometry, many vertices, many faces at the same time. By the way, if all this is confusing, I'm going to teach you all of this, okay? You don't need to understand any of this, or if we're moving too fast, it's all good, okay? I just want to show you cool stuff on the first day. So once you have the character bound, it's mesh bound to a skeleton, an armature, you can use the skeleton to move the character without moving every vertex piece by piece, okay? Much faster, much more elegant, much simpler. You can then, I mean, this reminds you of something, doesn't it? Did anyone play with action figures or dolls when they were younger? Okay, we're getting a bit too old for that, right? But it might remind you of some of that, right? Of Barbies or G.I. Joes or whatever. You pose a character into key poses, okay? Right? And you save that information. You save the rotation and the position of the bones. You save that data and you put them into something called a keyframe. There are these little yellow dots on the timeline at the bottom of the screen. Okay, and once you have enough keyframes, you can have Blender automatically interpolate between them. Okay, and this animation I made in about 20 seconds. Okay, not too bad for 20 seconds. But pretty bad as just a general animation, right? Okay, so what's missing? How can we make this look much more convincing as a wave? One really cool thing is many animators will actually take footage of themselves or friends doing the act. So if I try and like, hey, I see a friend in the back of the room, hey, right, like that. If you notice, right, there's a cool kind of slant, right? I'm blinking as I do this, gives me a sign of life. And it's not just right? There are multiple bones that are kind of like whiplashing a little bit, right? So that creates a really nice motion that feels good, it looks good, and we just don't have this here. Here's one bone that's just kind of going back and forth. That's it. The animation is really tough. I'm no good at it. But on the staff, we do have people who are very good at it, right? Evan's probably going to give some of those talks, okay? And you'll be very good at it too. You'll probably be better than I am. Of course, Blender can do extremely good animation, okay? Has anyone seen this film? Film is called Flow, okay? If you haven't seen the film, we will be watching it later in the semester as one of our lectures, actually. You'll even get some extra credit for attending. Anyway, Flow. A very, very big film, a very interesting film, a very artsy film in the best way. It has not a single word of spoken dialogue, human dialogue in it, but has tons of communication, okay? And you'll get a feel for that when you watch the film. It was made in 2024, entirely in Blender, mostly by one person, okay? And I want to show you the trailer. Let's take a look.
Don't you see, place?
This is probably going to get the video like blocked on YouTube. I'm just showing the trailer, which is itself a YouTube video. Okay, let's go. How loud is this going to be? Okay, it's a good film. I watched this film first on a 15-hour flight to Shanghai. Tiny little baby screen. It was still good, even on the tiny, crappy little plane screen. It was fantastic. Okay, I think you're going to enjoy it. It is a amazing win for Blender. This film won an Oscar for Best Animated Picture. This is Blender's first major absolute smash hit. And no one can say that Blender isn't a real deal modeling program anymore, okay? It now has that stamp of approval. You can tell that Jins is an indie because he immediately takes his big shiny Oscar and goes to In-N-Out, okay, with it, which is just fantastic. What a great photo. So anyway, right, Blender, it's great at modeling, it's great at animation, it's great at so many things, special effects, okay? When you build a character in Blender, how do you bring it to life, okay? You've got a stiff character, maybe the character's animating. How do you get them to look at the camera, look at things they walk past? How do you get their eyes to move back and forth, okay? Blender is really good at those things as well, okay? It will also teach you how to bring them into game engines. Here's an example. Character, you want dynamic physics, okay? Dress, attire, a cape maybe, okay? Hair or a hat, okay? You can make that kind of thing happen too, okay? So physics-powered hair, attire, things like that. What about stuff like this, okay? Dynamic mesh deformation for snow, all right? Why not? The materials in Blender are extremely powerful. You can do a lot of very fancy stuff, okay? We have to learn a lot to do it, but we're going to do that, okay? Anyway, this kind of stuff is very important for gameplay mechanics and stuff like that, all right? Anyway, it just won its first Oscar, as we just said, and it's very popular these days among indies and AA. It's making some headway in AAA as well, due to its cost effectiveness and its power. And of course, it is doing well in the film industry as well, okay? Here's an example. This is a game called Tower of Might I made with a guy named Brent Lattery. He worked on the Sonic film. Did anyone see Sonic 3? It's an awesome film. Yep, very, very cool artist. He's very good at this low poly art style. We used Blender to make this game, this character, these animations, these environments in how long? How long? 2 days, 48 hours, okay? And it was painful, but we got some sleep. We did work a very long time on it, but we did get 8 hours of sleep, so no big deal. We ended up winning that game jam, and that's what I want for you as well, okay? I want all of you to be able to move fast in Blender, do cool things, and be able to win competitions, game jams, film competitions, stuff like that. Blender, however, is famous for being a fairly eccentric and very opinionated program. In Blender, there's a way it wants you to do things, and you'd better do it that way, okay? Otherwise, you're going to run into a lot of issues, and there's going to be a lot of friction in these first few weeks as you get used to Blender and its unique characteristics and personality, okay? Because it really has a strange, unique personality, okay? Something I saw the other day. This is kind of the feeling of working in Blender sometimes, okay? You've got a character, just months of progress, and you're like, oh, it's, you know, no, you're going to learn much faster than that, okay? I already showed you this dog GIF. That's also how it feels. You'll understand. You'll understand soon. So, this is a Blender 3D art course, but this is also a Unity course, a technical game engine course, okay? And so, this is a program called Unity. Do you know what a game engine is? We got a 3D modeling program. We got Blender. Why do we need a game engine, right?
To do stuff with said models?
Yeah, so in Blender or Maya or 3ds Max, you refer to these programs as authoring programs, authoring tools. You author a character model as an FBX. Got their T-pose going on, maybe there's some animations in there, okay? But if you want those characters to do anything, if you want to breathe life into them, you have to bring them into an interactive environment. And that environment is a game engine, a Unity, okay? That is how you make video games. You start in Blender, bring your cool stuff over to Unity, use Unity to make the game. Okay, Unity, you've got a character in Blender, okay, but this doesn't look very good, does it? No, you want to bring the character somewhere, you want to give the character life, so bring it into Unity, give it interactivity. You can run around now, everything looks better, there's dynamic physics, okay, and you can do things with these characters. It is amazing, okay? Here is that model of Peach in Unity instead of in Blender, and you can actually run around, you can actually do things, okay? A quick fun thing, so Peach is very convenient for animations. Do you know why? Yes? Yes, that's right. The gown, okay, blocks view of the legs, which means the running pose just needs to worry about the arms, and the legs are very hard in a running animation. Okay, you'll discover that later. But we gave her this kind of cool, like, little ninja kind of pose with the arms, and just made her entire model bob up and down when running. That's all you need for a pretty convincing running pose. Though most of this is like a jumping. Yeah, you don't ever see the running pose, do you, in here? Oh, you do a little bit, okay? If you don't know, this is a game that is playable. This is a game that's playable on EECS298.com. And you may know that. I don't know if my server is running. I think my server crashed. Can someone else try and go to EECS298.com? I think my server crashed and I haven't had time. Oh, no, you're here. Oh, fantastic, it's running. This is multiplayer. By the end of this semester, every one of you will have your own multiplayer 3D platform game with your own characters, your own environment, okay? And it will be multiplayer by default, okay? You just get that for free. It'll be in a web link, so you can easily share it with your friends and family. And you can, you add a cool new character to the game, you can go run around with your friends and show it to them, okay? Sorry, whoever just fell there. The game you end up making will probably be more advanced than this. By the way, I'm sorry, everyone, for the tree. I know it's just crushes everyone, but, I kind of like that. So it's probably going to remain. Anyway, and you got animation for run, you got animation for death. So that is, oh my goodness. Look at all these characters. Wow. You can tell my server is struggling because the characters all freeze at the same time every few seconds. But I'll fix that. Don't worry. Okay. In any case, though, our main overarching mission for this semester is going to be to make this 3D platforming game. First half of the semester, we learn how to blend, use Blender, make 3D models, all that stuff. The second half of the semester, we'll learn 3D printing, some other fun stuff, and then learn how to make this cool game. I'm going to give you all the code that you'll need. Don't worry, okay? But you will need to bring in the art assets, integrate it, and get it all running. We're going to help you with that. No big deal. Should be fun. Okay? Unity is a really, really big deal. Okay? It's a huge engine, very popular engine. Has anyone heard of this game? Was Breath of the Wild made in Unity? No. But you know what was? Okay? The prototype for Breath of the Wild. Okay? Whenever Nintendo would come up with an interesting game mechanic, they have to ask themselves, is this game mechanic fun? Is it fun to shoot an arrow through a fire and have that arrow catch fire and bring the fire to the building next door? Okay? Well, they knew it was going to be fun because they prototyped exactly that mechanic in Unity. Okay? Super fast, only took them a few days, and they knew it was fun, so they were able to justify the investment to put it into the final big luxurious game. Okay? Same thing here. You can see an example where Link cuts down a tree, uses the tree to cross a very dangerous icy river. Well, they knew that was going to be interesting and compelling because they prototyped it. Okay? There it is, right? They knew it long before they actually made it that it was going to be awesome. Okay? Anyone play Genshin Impact? Okay? Anyone? No? Not much brain rot in this room. I'm very surprised. I thought all the hands... I think some of you play it and you just don't want to admit it, okay? Blender, okay, Unity. This is a Unity game, okay? And Unity is very good at diverse art styles, right? We've got 2D games. We've got anime games, large, beautiful anime games, okay? Very dynamic, cool characters. We have big, realistic, open-world games. This is a game called Recore, made by Xbox in 2016. And it's a game with AAA level graphics, okay? Huge environments, everything is beautiful. So Unity really can do it all, okay? This is a powerful game engine. It's one of the two main game engines in the duopoly right now. It's either Unity or Unreal Engine. And when I was walking through the game studio development floors during the summer, I saw 3 tabs open, okay? No, actually, sorry. Half of the computer screens I looked at for people working were Unity. The other half were Unreal Engine. And no matter what engine the person was using, they had a tab open to... No.
Documentation?
No. ChatGPT. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about AI usage on Wednesday, I think, all right? But the short of it is that AI is kind of a controversial topic right now, but it's definitely not something you should ignore. You should seek to understand it as best you can. And in my experience, these AI assistants, they're kind of crappy at some things, but one thing they're very good at, 24/7 office hours. Okay? If something's very strange or Blender messes up in somehow, if you're very specific, often ChatGPT can tell you about the hotkey that fixes it. Okay, Blender's documentation is kind of a mess, all right? And so we'll talk about maybe you can use it to accelerate your learning in this class, but certainly don't become reliant on it. And in this class, certainly don't try and pass something off as being your work if it was AI generated, okay? All right, we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. So this is not just a 3D modeling and Blender course, not just a Unity course, okay? This is a tech art course, okay? What does that mean? Over here, you've got the artists, okay? Over here, you've got the gameplay engineers, and when you find someone who has a lot of knowledge of both, that's a tech artist, okay? Someone who loves 3D art and loves engineering and technology, that's a tech artist, okay? And that's what you're going to become. All right, it's also a very playful course. When you have a bug in a computer program, it looks like this. It's kind of boring, right? Or maybe it looks like this if your Android app fails or your iOS app fails. Have you ever seen this? Okay. Or your operating system fails. Server fail, okay? When your animation fails, it looks like this, okay? You know, or maybe it looks like this. Or maybe, and this is my favorite one ever, have any of you heard of a game called Red Dead Redemption? This music is definitely getting my video banned on YouTube, okay? You're going to have to watch this lecture on Twitch, sorry. Okay, so very inspiring, right? So a really interesting thing here is that, why is this happening? Well, the bird, right? The birds have an animation, right, that has them flapping their wings. And the bird model has a skeleton, a standardized skeleton, an armature going through their wings and also their head, okay? It doesn't have anything for the legs, which is why the human legs look so strange. What's really cool is that their engine is able to retarget, it's able to reassign the human model to the bird's animation, okay? And the skeleton of the human is mapped correctly, mostly, to that of the bird. So that's why you have humans doing a somewhat convincing, funny, flap like a bird would, right? And so it's just very, very interesting how these glitches happen and what they tell you about how games are made and how this all works under the hood, okay? 3D printing is something you're going to learn in this course, okay? Did you know? I hope you look forward to it. It's super damn fun, okay? I really enjoyed doing some of my first 3D prints over the summer, getting these assignments ready for you. Halfway through the course, we will take a break from 3D modeling, and we will have 2 weeks where we will 3D print objects together, okay? You will do 3 3D prints, 1 standardized one, and then 2 of your own choice, okay? How many of you have never 3D printed before? Oh, hell yeah. This is going to be so cool. Okay. And it is fast. It is cheap. These machines you see here, you're going to use, are right below us, okay, in the basement of the Duderstat Center. I think you're really going to enjoy it. We will also, in case you're curious, I'm printing an early version of my Spike model, okay? So you can literally take things from your game or your film, 3D print it into real life, and just put it on your dresser or your desk or whatever you want to do. You will also be doing some photogrammetry, okay? And that is the inverse of 3D printing. In 3D printing, you take a digital object into the real world. In photogrammetry, you scan a real-world object and bring it into the digital world, okay? So look forward to that. That's going to be a really fun, pretty easy assignment. Take a nice break at the end of the semester, okay? Look forward to it. So it's a playful course as well. This is also a very industrial course, okay? A lot of companies out there who are looking to hire artists and animators and developers and tech artists. The job market's kind of crappy right now. Okay, that's how these things tend to go. Though this is not the first time it's been crappy, and by the time you graduate, things could be in a much, much better place. In any case, there will always be interesting indie teams and startup teams out there looking for good talent, and this knowledge will be very useful to you if you ever want to do your own hobby work and stuff like that, okay? And these are not just Western studios. There are a lot of studios in China these days. A lot of my students are over there at Tencent and NetEase and MiHoYo, and a lot of studios all over the world, not just USA or China, but Europe, okay? Some in Africa as well, South America. It is awesome. Very pragmatic focus, okay? Our mission in this course, learn how to create objects, learn how to create characters, learn how to create environments, bring them into an actual working indie game, the kind of which would not look out of place on Steam or itch.io. That's what you're going to have by the end of the course, okay? And you can play the game and see kind of what it might be like at that link, okay? Have any of you beat the game? That's a hard game. Oh, good job. Wow, done. For my other web game, hold on. So for my other web game that's hidden on my other course website, you see this one up here? If you beat this game, you get stickers. So if you beat the 298 game, you don't get anything now, but I'm thinking about like what kind of sticker I could print to give to people who can get to the end. I love doing that. So much fun. Okay, if you have any ideas, let me know, because I'm really curious. Okay, grading in this course. I think you may like this, or maybe this is a bit frustrating, but this is how it goes, okay? So in your homeworks, you have a bunch of problems. And the problem will always specify, hey, download this, do this, customize this however you like, and then make sure your model has a hat, okay? And as long as your model has a hat, it can be the ugliest model that you've ever made in your life, you're going to get those points, okay? So here is an example. This problem 3 of your first homework is Super Mario Sunshine 2. You import a model of this world, and then you have to put some of these objects, right? Here's the world. You have to recreate these photos by importing the Shine Sprite model and positioning them into just the right place. As long as it's in the ballpark, you get all the points, okay? All right, check the boxes, get the points, okay? If you want to go further, if you want to make a beautiful environment, a cool character, yeah, you're encouraged to do that. And if you do that, we'll highlight it, okay? You create an awesome model, you bet I'm going to show it off at the next lecture, okay, if I have time, if I see it. But this is not the kind of course where I'm going to critique your model and kind of stare at it for a while and then say, I'm not really feeling it, the emotion's all wrong here, okay? This doesn't speak to me, okay? Now, that's kind of a simplification of what can happen. If you like courses of that variety, there are a lot of really good ones around campus that will help you build out your ability to convey artistic intent, okay? This course is not that course, all right? And you might be happy about that, you might not be happy about that, okay? Grading requirements are very explicit in this course. I expect the average grade in this course to be an A, easy, maybe an A+, okay? We'll see what happens. Do the work, get the points. If you don't do the work, then you're going to have a bad time, all right? But you do the work, you'll be fine. So a very industrial course. What this course is not, this is not a programming course, okay? That's a huge topic, okay? You want to learn programming, you want to take my other courses, you go get a minor in CS or a major in CS, and you can do that, okay? When code is needed or required, you will receive it from us. If you do know how to program, you might be in for a fun time toward the end of the course because you can go customize and rip out any of my code that you want to. As long as you're meeting the requirements in the assignment specifications, you get the points, right? If you accidentally break everything, then you don't get the points, but I'll leave that risk up to you. This is not a critique or a social impact course, okay? There are a lot of really, really good courses in that style and flavor, in stamps, in the LSA and other courses. But your artistic style and intent, we don't care, okay? For a grading purpose, we don't care. We will be interested if you do something with an artistic intent. It's just not going to affect your grade, okay? I still think it's very cool. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Meet the requirements, get the points. Okay, this is not necessarily going to be an easy course. Mixing technology and art skills, as we talked about earlier, it's tough. Okay, there's going to be some friction, right? You might be interacting with a subject of knowledge that feels very different than what you're used to. Okay, imagine like trying to create art if all you've really done so far is just pure programming. Unless you say, well, my programs are art. Imagine you're an artist, but you've never programmed before in your life. You actually have. You have if you've ever written a to-do list for anyone. You were just programming a human computer. But these things are going to feel very different when you interact with these very diverse topics. Okay, so be ready for that and get excited about it. That's actually really fun. It's part of the fun. One thing that I loved about flying my plane was, it's not my plane, it's a club plane. It's just how different it was to anything else I had previously done. It's a very interesting challenge, piloting a plane. It's not like programming, okay? It's a very weird mix of, it feels technical, but it's not that technical. It's kind of artsy in how you want to land, okay? It's very touchy, right? You get a feel for it. It's really cool. Anyway, our recommendation is around 1 hour of work per day. In really jam-packed time periods, maybe toward the end of the course, it might get up to 1.5 hours of work per day. That's like you working on your homework, okay? If you go to office hours a lot, you can cut this quite a bit because you'll save a lot of time. But be careful about skipping too many days. You want to try and do your work in this course a little bit per day, okay? That will really help you move much faster. Your memory for things like hotkeys and Blender UI will be much better than if you just grind it out in the final day of every homework assignment, okay? So don't do that. And importantly, this is not a finished course. This is a pre-alpha course. It is a missing content, okay? You know how many lectures I have finished for this course? 2. You know what lecture number this is? 2. This is my second lecture slide deck. So I'm going to be creating a lot of things on the fly in this course. The good news is the homeworks are largely finished, and we got playtesters going through them. We think they're fairly polished, but we really value your feedback, and we really value your patience in this first semester, okay? There are going to be bugs. There are going to be things that don't work. There are going to be assignments that are ambiguous, things that don't make sense. There are going to be links that are broken. There are going to be, my bot might go crazy and just spam you with emails, okay? Who knows what could happen? But I really appreciate your patience. It takes some guts to take a course in the first semester. And so we're gonna take good care of you, okay? When things go wrong, just let us know about it as soon as you can. Send me an email, a DM on Discord. Gonna get things fixed. I'll stay up all night if I have to. Game engine architecture students can vouch for that. But let me know how things are going. I really, really am interested in whether the course is meeting your needs and where it's falling short, okay? Thank you so much. We iterate this course enough time, and then it's just amazing. Next year's students are going to love this course in part because of some of the struggles and bugs that you go through, okay? So I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. So expect some bugs and all that good stuff. There may be some gaps in lectures, and in particular, some of our lectures might be short, okay? Really quick, high-level schedule, then we're done, all right? We got 15 weeks. We got to get you to that EA or Blizzard internship. How are we going to do it? Here's how. We're going to spend 6 weeks focusing on Blender and 3D modeling, okay? We're then going to take a break. We're going to learn about 3D printing and photogrammetry for 2 weeks, right in the middle. We're then going to come back. We're going to spend 4 weeks basically taking your 3D models and learning how to bring them dynamically into Unity and give them life, okay? Make them interactive, make them awesome, okay? And then you're going to have a 2-week final project. I think there will probably be teams. Okay, I don't know how big they're going to be, maybe 2 or 3 people. And you're going to make that final game. Make your own characters, make your own environments, make your own NPCs, make your own level design, and have a good time, okay? I think you're really going to enjoy all of this, all right? So we've got 2 minutes to go. I just want to show you a couple more animation bugs. These ones are personal, okay? This is from a game I was working on like 3 or 4 years ago. Main character, Amy, she is not supposed to look like that, okay? She looks like she is possessed. This is, I think we imported her model incorrectly, and so her animations like her arm animation was like in her 2 legs or something, and I'm not sure why that was happening. But this is a horror game, if you couldn't tell, called A Greek Tragedy. Most of these are going to be kind of spooky, actually. Yeah. I think this is awesome. Anyway, okay. What else do we got? Oh no. Okay, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Don't let this happen to you. Poor Link. What else do we have here? Okay. Yeah, here was another one. I imported Amy's model into Unity, and I did some resizing in Unity that for some reason caused this really weird squiggly behavior. Now, in my brain, I instantly thought, this isn't a bug. This looks like our next great horror character, right? Our horror monster. Imagine it kind of slinking down the hallways, right? And you're running away and trying to figure out what to do. Super compelling, in my opinion. What else is this? Oh, yes, in this one. I think in this one, her eyeballs despawned, as well as her teeth and the inner parts of her kind of mouth mesh. And that created this kind of crazy, evil-looking smile that looks super hollow. In any case, lots of interesting, fun, weird things are going to happen as you work your way through this course. If it's frustrating, okay, here's the chain of help. First, spend 15 minutes trying to solve it yourself. After 15 minutes, you go to Discord, you go to Piazza, and you go to GPT or an AI system if you want to. You ask for help. That lets us try and figure things out and help you out. You move on. If you still can't figure out the problem, if we can't figure it out, you come to office hours, I grab your computer, and we really go deep and we try and figure out what the problem is. Okay? If I can't figure out the problem, like, well, who knows what I'll do? Maybe I'll give you an extension. I don't know. But doesn't that seem fair? It's like, Professor, you can't figure out this problem. It's like, I need more time. Anyway, but that's the main takeaway, okay? When you need help in this course, do not be silent about it. Please reach out, okay? It is our job. That's why you're paying that expensive tuition so that we should come and help you out, okay? Everyone, if for nothing else, this semester, I hope you develop a love for both art and technology and how they work together, okay? And I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. It's like a Christmas morning, okay? New course. Let's see how it goes. And I will see you all on Wednesday, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. Office hours for the next hour, okay? You want to get your homework done? I'll be here. Hey, what's up?
Hi, I'm Insane. I'm the guy that emailed you the other day. Override thing.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yes. Actually.
Okay.
One final thing, everyone. One final thing on overrides. Okay. There's a very good chance we'll ask for the course to be expanded to get everyone in about a week. But I want to monitor things and make sure it's not a disaster this first week, okay? If it's not a disaster, you're doing all right on the homeworks, all that good stuff, then we will try and get everyone in from the wait list, okay? Tell your friends that just left early, all right? Okay, see you, everyone. Bye-bye.
I emailed someone about it, and they were like...
Bye-bye, everyone. See ya.